Well, if you haven't noticed, the man with the real opinion has been absent this week. That's because he was up in Chicago for the Comic-Con there, and when he wasn't getting autographs from professional wrestlers and actors, he ran into a man he thought that we should meet.
Hey, this is Geno Reynolds from Chicago Comic-Con. I barely have a voice left. I'm here with one of my favorite people, Doug Jones.
Hey.
Why don't you tell everyone who don't know who you are, because you're behind a lot of makeup a lot of times. Tell the people some of the parts you've played.
Right, well, hi. The reason you don't know my face really well is because I was Abe Sapien, the blue fish guy in the Hellboy movies. I was the Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four sequel. I was the El Fauno, the fawn Pan in Pan's Labyrinth, along with the Pale Man. And also I was the goofy zombie, Billy, in Hocus Pocus, that Halloween movie. And the list goes on and on. But that's been 26 years of me under a lot of rubber makeup. So that's why Chicago Comic-Con these are my peeps. This is like coming home for me.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun to see you here. I've seen you here a couple times. Now, one thing I've always wanted to ask you is, what's your opinion on CG versus real people doing monsters and stuff like that?
I like to not think of it as a versus. That's where I would start. I think CG and practical makeups are working more in conjunction with each other now, and the Silver Surfer is a perfect example of that. I was wearing a glued-on makeup mask and a bodysuit with muscles built into it. Thank goodness they could add that now. And what they did, a CG coating over me later to make me all glistening and otherworldly looking. So it's a nice combination of both mediums, and there's great artists in both. So at first, when the CG was coming on the scene and getting better and better, we all got scared that our jobs were going to go away. But people in the audience have spoken up, and they really like to connect with another human being. They want to see a performance and something coming out of that person that they can connect with.
I agree.
And I agree too. So I think we got the best of both now.
Is there any role, past, present, or future, that you've always wanted to play, or that someone else has played, a part you didn't get, or something like that you've always wanted?
I would say I've always wanted to play a vampire. Now, not a glistening, sparkly one that's really pretty that all the girls scream about.
Those aren't vampires.
Well, right, there's a contention about that, sure. I would like to go back to maybe even film something in black and white, and maybe do a Nosferatu or a Dracula remake of some sort. I would love that. I would love to be a very gothic, classic sort of vampire.
And you know I'm going to ask it. Hellboy 3, anything? I know Del Toro has said that he's opened the idea, so's Ron Perlman. Right. Have you heard anything new on that?
Nothing more than you have. Before Comic-Con in San Diego this year, it was kind of a dead issue. They weren't talking about it anymore, and it seemed like it was off the table. But after Ron Perlman put the makeup back on to grant a Make-A-Wish Foundation kids,
Seen that was incredible. I love
sweetest thing I've ever seen. That kind of revived everybody's love for Hellboy between Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman. It's like, wow, we got something here. And if it's a child's wish to meet Hellboy, not Ron Perlman, he wanted to spend time with Hellboy. That makes everything sort of relevant in a very heartwarming way. And so they're revisiting the notion of a Hellboy 3 now. It's back on the table. No dates, no promises, no commitments, but it's back on the table, and I like it being on that table because I want to play Abe Sapien again. I really want to revisit that role.
I want to see you revisit that role too. Now, I'd ask for a handshake, but we all know you have to end this on You have to end this on the Dougie hug.
Get your Dougie hug. So come
on
here.
A Dougie hug.
Big love.
All right, thank you very much, Doug.
Thanks so much for having me.
This has been Geno Reynolds from The Real Opinion. Until next time.
All right, thank you, Geno. You can catch the full interview at the Real Opinion Facebook page. Geno will be back next week to tell us what he thought of this weekend's action extravaganza, The Expendables 2. And coming up, if you're looking for a new car, well, you might see why the minivan is making a big comeback.
We're all very hopeful Geno gets his voice back for next week as well. Nice interview, Gene. Good job.